great players. They have a great organization. And you tell them one thing, baby.
What is good, Raider Nation? It's your boy Raider Alex back with yet another video for you guys. Anybody that's new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Also make sure to hit that bell notification, that way you get notified every time I post a video just like this one. Without further ado, let's jump right into the topic of this video. The Las Vegas Raiders defense showed out against the #1 ranked offense in the NFL, and they really surpassed my expectations going into this game. Before this game, the Raiders defense has had pretty good games, but that was usually against bad offenses and bad quarterbacks in general. But look, last game was their first real test ever since that blowout loss to the Buffalo Bills in week 2, and boy did the Raiders defense come out and show out. They definitely responded, and they gave us a legitimate chance to upset the Miami Dolphins. And today I just wanted to break down the film, break down some of the top plays from this defense to show you what we did good and how this defense has shown it's taken a major stride forward. But with that being said, let's jump right into the tape. Now, the Raiders defensive line did a very good job on this rep right here. Here, the Miami Dolphins, they're trying to run this to the outside with their speedster, Devon Achane. They even shift the O-line to the right. And what they're ultimately looking for is for them to bounce this to the outside. But Malcolm Koonce does his job perfectly. He does a good job setting the edge, which then forces the Dolphins running back to go to the inside. And that's where John Jenkins is able to make the stop. And also Bilal Nichols did a good job containing the double team block. But really, if Malcolm Koonce doesn't set the edge right here, this would have been a solid run for the Dolphins. So just great job right here. Now, the first turnover of the day for the Raiders defense. Here, Tua looks down the field. Nothing is open, so he decides to scramble and use his legs. But what I loved here was linebacker Luke Masterson is spying the quarterback. He always has his eyes on Tua, as they know he's a legit threat using his legs. And immediately this defense is swarming towards him, and they're able to make the tackle. And Masterson does a great job knocking this ball loose, which leads to the first turnover of the day for this defense. Just great stuff right here. Once again, another good example of the Raiders stopping the run. With the Miami Dolphins, their offense, really when they're running the ball, they want to run it to the outside. Sure, they can run it up the gut, but that's not really what they're known for. That's not their identity. They want to get to the outside and make this a track meet. And here we can see both of our linebackers getting in the backfield. And we also got slot cornerback Nate Hobbs, who's able to evade the block from the wide receiver. But our ability to stop the run on these outside zone runs really helps set the tone for this defense. Another great rep by the defensive line. First, we see Malcolm Koonce uses the bull rush technique to beat his man and get a sack on Tua. But also, let's take a look at Tyree Wilson. This was very interesting because we usually see him lined up on the edge, but here we are using him as an interior defensive lineman. And if we look at it from this angle, he does a fantastic job creating push in the pocket, able to push back the right guard, and he's able to disengage his hands at the point of attack. So really, we had 3 defensive linemen who were able to beat their block and who were able to break down the pocket, which ultimately led to the sack. Just very good stuff right here. Now right here, we give up a reception to Tyreek Hill, but I can't be too mad at this because Nate Hobbs was just not quick enough to keep up with Tyreek as he makes his break on the route. But even with that, this was a contested catch. That's really all you can ask for when it comes to defending Tyreek Hill. You can't shut him down completely out of the game. He's just too good of a player. He's going to get his here and there. Now, another Nate Hobbs play on this one. He was all over this route with great coverage, and they were just lucky here that it was only an incomplete pass. Now on this play, the Raiders defense give up a big touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill. The Raiders here are running cover 1, and I think the biggest mistake here was we played way too soft of a coverage against Tyreek Hill. I also don't necessarily love the matchup with Marcus Peters on him, and you just can't let him run 20 yards untouched like we do here. Not expecting to find the soft spot in the zone, and after that, as he shows here, he has the quickness and the speed to find the end zone anytime he catches the ball. I think really with Tyreek, you either got to bump him at the line of scrimmage, or you just can't play so soft, play 10 yards at the line of scrimmage. Also, you can make the argument too with Trayvon Merrick that he should have took a much better angle right here. He's got to see that he has leverage right over there with Marcus Peters. He should take an angle like over here to kind of cut off this gap. He runs right through that, but the Raiders get burned on this one. The Raiders defense once again showed they weren't going to make it easy for them to run the ball at all with their speedster running backs. And here Marcus Epps does a good job coming downhill. He initially misses the tackle, but we got linebacker Robert Spillane right behind him to clean it up. Now a huge play in this game is 4th and 2. The Miami Dolphins decide to stay on the field inside the red zone, and they're going to try this play action screen pass to Tyreek Hill, but Nate Hobbs is all over this. Before Tua even gets the ball off, you can see Hobbs is running right at Tyreek Hill, and most importantly, he's able to come up and make the tackle, which is the most important part, because if you miss the tackle right here, it's going to be a touchdown. Just great stuff right here from Nate Hobbs. He's definitely a huge difference maker on this defense. Now the second touchdown of the day for the Miami Dolphins, and here they're going to beat us with a screen concept. The Raiders bring pressure, and we got man-to-man across the board, and they're able to isolate Divine Deablo with their running back. He's able to get open, and look, even if Divine Deablo was all over this route, he's probably going to get hit with that screen from the lineman. But I'm not going to lie, this was a good play call by the Dolphins. They had the perfect play to counter our blitz right here. The Raiders come up big once again, able to create another turnover as Divine Deablo gets his hand in there, and we were able to recover the fumble, and they just put us in a perfect scenario, perfect field position for our offense to capitalize on. So there's really no doubt that this defense gave this team a great chance to win this game. Just unfortunately, we weren't able to capitalize on offense. Now here we got the third turnover of the day, and Tua Tagovailoa is going to try the secondary deep right here. The Raiders are running a cover 1, and I just love how Isaiah Palomalu plays this route and this play just in general. He plays his leverage very well. He knows what angle to take, and this is kind of the angle I was talking about earlier with Trayvon Merrick on that Tyreek Hill touchdown pass. Palomalu does it right here. He puts himself in a perfect position to cover this deep route. Tua gets aggressive and throws this ball, but he makes them pay, and he's able to come down with the interception. Just very exciting to see this too from the young guy as well. Great stuff from Palomalu. Now here Tyreek Hill just cooks Marcus Peters for a big chunk play, and I really want to get your guys' opinions. I mean, do you think we should have stuck with Marcus Peters to guard Tyreek Hill in this game, or should they have gone with somebody else, maybe like a quicker cornerback and a Meek Robertson? You know, let me know. Now right here, Robert Spillane gets a little bit too excited, bites on the play action, which opens up the quick pass across the middle. And on this next rep, we got linebacker Robert Spillane once again, but here he almost makes a phenomenal play. Here Tua tries to fit this in a tight window between the safety and the linebackers, but Spillane just plays this perfectly. He follows his eyes and anticipates the throw, and he was able to get his hands on it, but he was unable to get the interception. Definitely a missed opportunity, but this would have been huge for this defense. Spillane played it perfectly, just got to come up with the interception. Now another huge 4th down stop by this defense, and I got to give a lot of credit right here to defensive end Malcolm Koonce, because if we look at this play, you see it develop. Their man was open, but he was just able to make Tua hesitate just for a bit, pump fake this once, and then he throws this on the move without his feet fully set. And that just little effort that Malcolm Koonce was able to do really just helped this throw be just slightly off target, slightly low, and eventually forced the incomplete pass and ultimately forced a turnover on downs. Just great effort here by Malcolm Koonce. On this rep, we did a much better job covering Tyreek Hill. Isaiah Palomalu is assigned to him on this one, and we got Trayvon Merrick, who this time takes a much better angle, and Tua instead just essentially throws this out of bounds. Just great stuff right here. Once again, in this rep, another example of us playing much tighter coverage on Tyreek Hill, and if this pass was just slightly underthrown, Isaiah Palomalu could have easily got his second pick of the day, but just good job when it comes to making in-game adjustments by Patrick Graham when it comes to covering Tyreek. Now here, the last big play from this defense comes on a 3rd and 4 with 2 minutes and 9 seconds left in the 4th quarter, and the Raiders desperately need to stop right here if they want any chance to win this game. And if the Miami Dolphins convert this, well, it's game over and they can just run the clock out. And the first thing you're going to notice with this play is Maxx Crosby and Malcolm Koonce are able to create pressure on Tua, and they really make this play happen, because if we weren't able to get pressure on Tua, eventually you see number 11 gets wide open, but there was no way he was going to be able to make this throw once Crosby and Koonce and eventually Adam Butler were all able to get in the backfield. And then after that, they were just able to force Tua to just throw this ball away, which was huge because now the clock stops and now the Raiders offense has a chance to win the game. Ultimately, they weren't able to do it, but this defense once again put us in a position to succeed. And another thing I love to see is this is starting to become a trend for Maxx Crosby. In the big plays when we need a play, Maxx Crosby has been stepping up and been able to create havoc. I just love to see it. So Raider Nation, I think this defense is really starting to put it all together. The defensive line has been able to create pressure more consistently and just been more disruptive in general. And I'm just loving the speed and the aggressiveness that this defense is starting to play with. This defense really just does a good job of keeping things in front of them. And after that, you always see multiple defenders swarming to the ball, making tackles. And what I love too is we're starting to get a knack for creating turnovers. You're seeing one defender coming up and wrapping up for the tackle, and then you got another guy looking to punch the ball out, and it's really been paying off for us. We've been able to get a lot more turnovers in the last couple of weeks, and this defense has finally been able to generate turnovers, and this was against their first legitimate opponent ever since that Buffalo Bills game, and this Raiders defense responded 100%. To only give up 20 points to the #1 ranked offense in the whole National Football League is really saying something. Not only that, they only gave up 6 points in the entire second half, and they were able to create 3 turnovers, almost 4 if Spillane was able to come up with that interception. And most importantly too, I feel like they made key stops on 3rd and 4th down throughout the game, forcing field goals or forcing a turnover on downs. Really, if we look back at this, if the defense didn't hold up, if they didn't do their job like they did, this game could have really got ugly. And really, I just got to say, I think we got to start putting some respect on this Raiders defense. They're looking just so much better than they did last year. They're looking like a very competent defense thus far. And before, everybody really said the Raiders defense only has been playing well because we won against inferior opponents and inferior quarterbacks. And although that was a fair critique, a fair assessment, the Raiders defense in this game show that they are for real and they have taken a huge step forward compared to last season. Right now, as it stands, the Raiders defense is ranked 13th in points per game. And look, I'll definitely take that any day of the week. We just got to figure out how to get this offense to be more effective. And if we can do just that with how this defense is playing, the Raiders will be just fine. We're going to have another huge matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs. And I can honestly say I'm excited to see what this defense can do out there. I have a lot of confidence in them in this game. And really, as it stands for the Raiders at this point, the Raiders defense is clearly the strength of their team, even though we have way more money invested in the offense than we do to the defensive side of the football. But Raider Nation, I want to get you guys' feedback. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below of what you guys saw from the Raiders defense in this matchup. And for anybody that's new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys in the next one.